asked about a number of foreign policy issues. He could not answer about Afghanistan, about Israel, about counterterrorism, except to say if he'd had some paper in front of him, maybe he could. I think you need to have the judgment on day one to be both president and commander-in-chief.
Senator. And let's talk about judgment. And let us talk about the worst foreign policy blunder in the modern history of this country. I led the opposition to that war. Secretary Clinton voted for that war. Let's talk about judgment. Let's talk about super PACs and 501c4s, money which is completely undisclosed. Where does the money come from?
There it is, just a little bit. It got heated in Brooklyn just 5 days before the primaries in New York. It'll be on Tuesday. It got heated in Brooklyn. And the crowd was particularly into it. It was very vocal, and I think it added to the overall scene. And, Hillary's light on her toes now. Wait. Boom, boom. She'll smack. What? What you say? What? Hit you again, Bern. She said, I thought, hey, the people of the great state of New York, they trusted my judgment. Okay, twice. All right, everybody loves Barack Obama. You love Barack Obama? Mm-hmm, yeah, you too? Raise your hand. Okay, great. He trusted my judgment, made me Secretary of State. And I'm just not really sure how far that's going to carry Mr. Bernie Sanders. I think he got caught up in the heat of the moment. Had he had a chance to think about it, he would have realized that statement was a dead end. I mean, some might even argue that if you're looking for qualifications, and what does that mean, qualified? Well, a lot of folks are going to say experience. Well, then some might even say that she's more qualified than he is. Okay? He's talking about representing the United States in terms of these issues of international affairs. She's actually done it. She's actually done it. Say what you want. You know me, I'm on the fence here. I just give you the information. You decide for yourself who you're going to vote for. Okay? But I mean, real is real. I mean, let's be honest here. And I'm not really sure that's helping him. That's not really helping him. His insistence on talking about Wall Street. How far is that going to take Bernie Sanders? I mean, I agree with him. I think there's a lot of folks who are involved with the so-called financial collapse that, quite honestly, should have went before a judge. They should have went before a judge. It didn't happen. I mean, all we got was Bernie Madoff. He was the face of financial shenanigans and con games. There's a lot of folks right now still in their jobs, clocking big dough, big money. They're never going to go before a judge. But how far is that really going to carry him? Okay, you tell me. Tracy writes, he said hot garbage, LMAO. He did. Speaking of Jason Whitlock. Tracy writes, never liked Kobe. He's a selfish ass. Yeah. So it's almost like they're celebrating anti-team basketball by celebrating Kobe. I mean, what else are they going to do with the Lakers organization? They're no way near. They couldn't even see the playoffs. So what else are they going to do? Oh, man, if I was on that team, that'd be different. Kevin Newman writes, Little Penny was the man, LOL. And you know what I'd almost forgotten? Was about Little Penny. Remember, he was the voice of Chris Rock? And he would do and say and react to things in a way that Anthony Hardaway would never do, because he was like, he was crazy out there with skills, man. I love Penny Hardaway. But, he wasn't like bombastic. He wasn't flashy, He came across as humble and shy. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I like the guy. He just had crazy skills. He did what he did, and that was it. But then when Nike introduced the Little Penny character, that was great. Man, that was some of the best Nike commercials of all time. That was great. That was some good stuff right there. Kobe still have a grudge against Penny Hardaway for not giving him an autograph when Kobe was in high school. Yeah, I'm watching SportsCenter yesterday. They talked to Penny Hardaway. He said, I don't know what the hell Kobe's talking about. I've talked to him many times over the years. That's never been brought up. As the story goes, he said he went to a high school game and Kobe was playing. But he says, look, I wasn't into high school sports. I was looking toward the NBA. He says Kobe never asked him for an autograph. So who knows? Maybe he's misremembering. Harry writes, this magic moment was A+. Never knew how much Nick Anderson was affected and how they treated Shaq. Yeah, Nick Anderson. Ooh, he missed 4 free throws in a crucial moment against the Houston Rockets. I mean, it was like getting in a time machine and going back to many years ago. I remember watching that live, and I was rooting for the Orlando Magic. Yeah, I mean, the Houston Rockets had won the championship previous to that. And most of I enjoyed and favored more players on the Orlando Magic than I did the Houston Rockets. I mean, for obvious reasons. I mean, they had Penny, they had Shaq, Horace Grant, they had Nick Anderson, they had all these, B. Scott, they had all these great players. So Nick Anderson gets up there with a chance to ice the game. The Orlando Magic are up by 3. There's like less than 10 seconds left. All he has to do is hit 1 free throw, and he blows them all. What's funny is I watched it with the wifey last night. Yeah. Now, that's a good woman. You watching 30 for 30 with her? Man, that was great. And we're talking about it. You know what I'm saying? We went back in time together. And I'm telling her, I'm like, you got to shake that off. You got to shake it off. That's the difference. See, Michael Jordan would have missed that. To even give him credit, Kobe, he would have hit one of those free throws. LeBron, he would have hit one of those free throws. Irvin Magic Johnson, he would have hit one of those free throws. That's the difference. You never know who you are until you're in that moment. That's the difference. I mean, all those dudes that play in the NBA are great. They're all the top of their game. But what separates the good players from the great players, right? From the awesome players, from the legendary players, it's mental. It's all mental. Okay? Everybody works on their shot. Why is Stephen Curry, he just set a new record for the amount of three-point shots made? I think he's like 403, which is just ridiculous. You couldn't hit 400 three-pointers if you were in the gym by yourself. How long would it take you to hit 400 three-pointers? It might take you all year. That's a lot of three-pointers. This man did it in the NBA. You know what the difference is between him and the other players? It's mental. It's between his ears. I wouldn't be so surprised if his wife, he's got a stable family. He's got a wifey hold him down with the kids. I'm telling you, a good woman, right? Man, a good woman can lift you up. A bad woman can tear you down. Let's be honest. But a good woman can lift you up to higher heights. I know. I'm telling you. I'm living it. I've seen it. I believe that has something to do with it. Then he's got his family behind him. Mom and dad at the games, brother, he's in the NBA. I'm telling you, when you got a strong foundation behind you, it can lift you to higher heights, things that you just can't reach by yourself. It is the truth. That's why I say support the people in your fam. And that's why I always give props to the folks that support me. You hear me do it every single morning. I understand the power of it. That was, I'm going to have to go back and watch that again, the magic moment. But Nick Anderson, he missed those 4 free throws. He was done. You could see it in his eyes. He just wasn't prepared for that moment. It was just too much for him. And the guy was a great shooter. He was a 3-point specialist. I just will never understand. I told the wife, is that with me? You know what I would have done? Would you like to know what Nathan would do in a situation like that? I would have left the arena that night and spent all night working on my free throws. That's all I would have done. I would have got my game together. I would have relished being put back in that moment again. I would have rushed back to the free throw line. That's what you do. When you fall off the horse, you have to get right back on. You can't wait a week or 2. Then you start thinking about it. Oh, you start doubting yourself. No. You get right back into the fire. And from what I picked up with that show last night, the magic moment, 30 for 30, ESPN, is that Nick Anderson was afraid to shoot free throws. How are you afraid to shoot free throws? They're free throws that no one's blocking you, no one's talking to you. I don't understand it. But I guess it's all mental. I guess, we all say what we would do in that situation, but I'm telling you without a doubt, that's what I would have done. Okay, I don't want to get on the team boast. I'm going back to the gym. I'd have shot 1,000 free throws that night, all night long. I would have ate in the gym. I would have made sure that when I got back into that moment, I was prepared. If you're prepared, that's all you can ask for. Is that the reason why they lost the game? Well, it didn't help. But no, it's a team sport. They were up by like 20 points against the Houston Rockets. They had a young Akeem the Dream Olajuwon. Remember the Dream? The Dream Shake? Oh, my God. That's great NBA right there. Young Kenny Smith, he was a baller. You could see it in his eyes. He was hungry. Remember Sam Cassell? Hungry. Big Shot Rob. Big Shot Bob. Robert Horry, a young Robert Horry, who, by the way, has 7 rings. Big Shot Bob hitting big shots in the playoffs. Man, that was some great NBA right there. That was great. That was the year Michael Jordan decided he wanted to play baseball. The hell? More Bernie versus Hillary. Check this out. This was from the Democratic debate last night in Brooklyn. Again, 5 days before the New York primary. Check this out.
And let us talk about the worst foreign policy blunder in the modern history of this country. I led the opposition to that war. Secretary Clinton voted for that war. Let's talk about judgment. Let's talk about super PACs and 501c4s, money which is completely undisclosed. Where does the money come from? Do we really feel confident about a candidate saying that she's going to bring change in America when she is so dependent on big money interests? I don't think so.
Well, let me just say.
Secretary, let him finish.
Okay.
Thirdly, we have got to understand that in America we should be thinking big, not small.
Thank you.
We need to join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all people as a right. My view, God help you.
Thank you, Senator. Secretary.
Well, make no mistake about it. This
Hillary's
is
got the
not
best
just an
lives,
attack
don't
on
she?
me. It's an attack on President Obama. President Obama, let me tell you why. You may not like the answer, but I'll tell you why. President Obama had a super PAC when he ran. President Obama took tens of millions of dollars from contributors. And President Obama was not at all influenced when he made the decision to pass and sign Dodd-Frank, the toughest regulations on Wall Street in many a year. So this is a phony attack that is designed to raise questions when there is no evidence or support to undergird the insinuations that he is putting forward in these.
Well, there was a big moment last night. Again, good morning to you. This is currently 7:53 a.m. in the Queen City. My name is Nathan Ivey. You're listening to NathanIvey.com. People keep asking me, Nate, where's your new station? The best station in the world? My own. NathanIvey.com. But here's one stumble last night from Bernie Sanders, and he's going to have to address this. And I'm not sure if you're aware of it. Again, you know me, I want to put all of the facts on the table, and you decide for yourself about who you're going to vote for. I'm not here to tell you to vote for. It's too much pressure. Okay? We're all grown folks. You've got your own, you should vote for whoever you believe is going to impact your life, right? Your needs the best. But last night, Senator Bernie Sanders, struggled to explain his position on whether the Sandy Hook families should be able to hold the manufacturer of the AR-15 gun used in the massacre going back to 2012 to hold them liable in a wrongful death lawsuit. Did you notice? Bernie Sanders voted for a 2005 law that grants immunity to gun manufacturers for injuries caused by their products. Now, I have been talking about that particular law and railing against it ever since it was proposed. I was on the air at that point. Okay? All right? And I thought it was a complete slap in the face and a travesty to victims' families. Because as we try to research and investigate and figure out how we're going to deal with the proliferation of guns, you cannot have a serious question about that without at least on some levels holding the individuals who are manufacturing the guns responsible. And during the Bush years, there was a law that was passed that he gleefully signed that granted immunity to the gun manufacturers for injuries caused by their products. Now, why was this done? It was done because they were facing an avalanche of wrongful death lawsuits by